And Israel remembers David as the man who sacrificed his daughter. And they commemorate things during the year and celebrate this and to mourn for what happened. After a powerful victory of the Ammonites just finished happening, they don't celebrate God's name in the victory of the battle. They mourn for the fact that she was sacrificed. And when we look at this, God said the whole entire time, stop bargaining for things that I already promised you. Stop giving me promises for things that I have already given you freely. I gave you your daughter so that you can revel in her, marvel her, enjoy her. Not for you to have to take the time to slit the daughter's throat and separate her. Because I don't want you to sacrifice my daughters. I don't want you to sacrifice your daughters to me. That's not what I asked for. I asked for you to keep my covenant, to have a friendship, to love each other. Not to say, God, if you do this, I will do this. God said the whole time, I already gave it to you. I already gave it to you. My hand was upon it already. I already promised you life. I already promised you a safe path. I already promised you assurance and encouragement and hope. I already promised you life. Why do you have to bargain with me? And we think, man, that is it. Japheth is one screwed man. There is no hope for this guy. He killed his own daughter in the name of God. That's just sad. That's gross. That's disgusting. But let's go to Hebrews. Chapter 11, verse 32. Chapter 11, verse 32 in Hebrews. If you're there, say amen. If you're not, say mercy. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 32. Paul is writing this letter to this group, and he says, what more shall I say? I do not have time to tell you about Gideon, Barak, Samson, Japheth, David, Samuel, and the prophets, who, through faith, conquered kingdoms, administered justice, and gained what was promised, who shut the mouths of lions, quenched the fury of the flames, and escaped the edge of the sword, whose weakness was turned to strength, and who became powerful in battle and routed foreign armies. Women received back their dead, raised to life again. Others were tortured and refused to be released so that they might gain a better resurrection. Some faced jeers and flogging, while still others were chained and put in prison. They were stoned. They were sawn in two. They were put to death by the sword. They went about in sheepskins and goatskins, destitute, persecuted, and mistreated. The world was not worthy of them. They wandered in deserts and mountains, and in caves and in holes and in ground. What is chapter 11 in Hebrews known as? The faith chapter. And doesn't this throw a curveball now? And here is this man who seems to have a very twisted picture of who God is, offers something to God that God didn't really ask for, and yet he's mentioned by Paul himself in the faith chapter. What a gracious God we serve. For even though he says, you're giving me things that I didn't ask you for, but because of your understanding of what's going on, because of the sin that is encroaching around you, I see your heart. And you will be in my kingdom. I fully intend to see Jacob and his daughter in heaven. God understands in the situations that we are in. He understands if we feel like we're cornered, and that out in faith we do something that, quite frankly, He didn't ask for. But He sees where you're coming from. And even though it has a sour taste in His mouth, He will accept it. And He will work with you. And He will pray with you. And He will struggle with you. And He will uplift you. And He will deliver you. And He will take you home. It doesn't mean that we can't go do now whatever it is that we want to do in the name of God. That's not what I'm advocating. But what I am saying is because stuff happens in this life, that when things just seem absolutely dismal, and we don't really seem to understand God at that point, and when we do something that, quite frankly, He didn't ask us to do, God will say, I will work with you. And I will bring you home. This is what the Jews faced in the Holocaust. This is what people who were faced with genocide and suicide and hate and murder and rape, situations in family and family feuds and things like that, this is the type of thing we're talking about. Or because we've been infused for so long in the culture and the environment that we're in, that we're getting mixed signals. But God is saying, I will move powerfully among you and on behalf of you. Where I will pick you up from where you are. And I will release you to a better life. Where finally you can quit bargaining for the things that cost you. Thank you.